Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. Long time no see. I know it's been a hot minute, but I'm back to talk about the Academy Awards 2020 winners. Yes, the Oscars happened last week and we got a chance to see who the Academy deemed the best of 2019. Now, I have a lot of thoughts surrounding this year's nominations just in general, which we'll get to in a moment. But I'm going to be discussing in this video my reaction, my thoughts on the Academy Award winners of this year. So stay tuned if you want to hear those. Please be sure to subscribe so you can catch videos coming up. Without further ado, let's get into this video. So firstly, I wanted to preface this whole chat with my thoughts on the Academy Award nominations this year in general. Now, I was fully planning on producing a video for the Oscar nominations of this year, just like I did for the Golden Globes. But then I saw the nominations and I was just so disappointed because they looked almost identical. There would be no point in me producing a video for the Oscar nominations because they were pretty much the same as the Golden Globe nominations. Now, I'm not saying that that doesn't usually happen, because that is usually the case, but this year I just got particularly frustrated because there seemed to be so many repeats, so many repeated films within each category that it was just driving me insane. So instead of ranting about it in a reaction to the nominations, I'm going to rant about it in the reactions to the winners. Now, the biggest issues that I had when it came to these nominations weren't actually the films themselves. I think the films were great and highly deserving of Academy Award nominations for the most part. I'm looking at you, Irishman. My thing is that it very much felt like there were about 10 films in total that the Academy actually bothered to watch, and then they decided to just split those 10 films within the categories and pretty much call it a day, because there was so much repetition there. And it frustrated me because on some accounts it very much was warranted to have a 1917 in multiple categories, or Joker in multiple categories. Fine. But then there were also accounts where, you know, Joker for hair and makeup. Why is Joker there for hair and makeup just because of one person's hair and makeup? Like, I definitely think that a film like Dolomite Is My Name or a film like Downton Abbey could have warranted that nomination instead of Joker, because I don't think that the work done in Joker is very representative of the best that this year or last year had to offer in hair and makeup. I definitely felt like there should have been much more consideration for films that weren't in the awards discussion for certain categories, especially the technical category, because even if they weren't the best films of the year overall, some of them actually did offer the very best of hair and makeup or production design or cinematography, but they weren't even considered at all. Another hot topic this year surrounding the Academy Awards was the lack of diversity, and especially the lack of female representation in the directing category. Now, I for one totally agree with this. I think that the Academy should have done their due diligence and actually watched more than 10 films, and they would have seen that there were plenty of female directors who killed it last year. I'm looking at the director for, yes, Little Women, Greta Gerwig, but also the director for Honey Boy. She didn't get a shout out whatsoever, and that film is fantastic. I'm looking at the director of Hustlers, even though I don't think the Academy would even dare to go over there, but it's just unfortunate because it definitely feels like, again, they looked at so few films, and so few films were in consideration that it was never really a fair game, which it never is. But it just made it so much more annoying, so much more frustrating, because this year we actually saw female directors come to the fore. We actually saw them offering up some fantastic films, and they were ignored. And often the argument is that, well, there's just no female directors, there's no black directors, there's no Asian directors. But in the case of 2019, there were plenty of offerings available, and the Academy still managed to ignore them. Okay, so now that I've gotten my rant out of the way, it's time for us to talk about the actual winners of this year's Academy Awards. Now, I was super happy to wake up today and see that, yes, Parasite had won Best Picture. That was such an unexpected, surprising, amazing turn for me. I am so happy that this film won. I talk about my love of this film ad nauseum in my best movies of 2019 list. Spoiler alert, it's very high up on that list. I absolutely loved this film, and I think it's fantastic that it made history in the Academy Awards, being the very first foreign language film to win Best Picture. This is the best example of diversity really being at work here and really coming to the forefront in cinema. And I think with such phenomenal results, I can definitely imagine other people looking to this film as an inspiration for what they want to achieve, regardless of what language that they speak and what country they are in, because it is possible. This South Korean film has shown everyone that it is possible, and I'm so happy. It couldn't have gone to a better film because it is truly just moi, creme de la creme. I will say though, last time I was visiting a similar list of nominees for the Golden Globes, I hadn't seen 1917. It had come out of nowhere, and I gave it a bit of, I gave it a tough time in that video because I hadn't seen it and I had my doubts. But I've seen it since, and it's bloody brilliant, isn't it? It's fantastic. I mean, what can I say? I fully am on board the 1917 train, and I was fully expecting it to sweep at the Academy Awards, but it didn't, which is such a huge surprise. Again, it's a welcome surprise because I still do prefer Parasite, but I didn't have anything against 1917 having such a head start in the Oscar race this year, because after I saw it, I realized that this is truly a very special film. It's truly magnificent. It's truly a work of art, etc, etc. So I don't hold any grudges against it for sweeping other awards, but I'm very glad that Parasite came in and just shocked us all. Similarly with Best Director, I also expected Sam Mendes to get the award because, once again, 1917 is truly a feat, and that's kind of what they were pushing this award season, the whole narrative surrounding the difficulty of making 1917 and how it looks like one shot and how they had to design the whole set and make it look so authentic and so real, but at the same time very meticulously calculated to be able to make this whole one shot thing possible. It was that whole narrative surrounding this film that really drove it to its prominence. But I feel like Sam Mendes definitely would have deserved the Academy Award for his work on that film, because it's truly extraordinary. It's not just a shtick. It really does work very well in the film. It works to elevate the film, and it definitely helps to make it stand apart as a war film. Having said that, we had Bong Joon-ho win instead, and I was very pleased about that. I said in my Golden Globes video that I wanted this guy to just win all of the awards, to sweep, and that's exactly what happened in the Academy Awards this year. Similarly with Best International Film, side note, I do appreciate the name change from foreign film to international film, because I definitely feel like in the past there have been several films that were not in contention for the Academy Award purely because they were in English, even if they were from a completely different country other than America or the UK. So I think this change from foreign film to international film may tackle this, and that's always a good thing, because there are plenty of English speaking countries out there that aren't America and the UK that wouldn't have been considered for the award previously that now can. Anyways, back to Parasite. I was surprised to see it win both categories. That is something that I think has never happened before. Not only that, but just last year we had Roma, and people were saying that that could possibly win both categories as well. They was looking very unlikely. So it's so interesting to see this parallel between Roma's campaign and Parasite's campaign. I definitely think that when it comes to Parasite, it was much more of an underdog than Roma was, because even though people expected it to win Best International Film, very few people would have called it winning Best Picture, which is why it's so surprising. But that's mostly because it's not flashy. It's not your average Oscar film. It's not the first thing that you think of when you think of Oscar bait. It's a fantastic film, but it's not the flavor of Oscar films that we're used to seeing. It's not, well, 1917 basically. Speaking of 1917, it didn't go home completely empty-handed. It did win a few technical awards, which I think, again, very highly deserving. Can't argue against that whatsoever. I'm especially happy that Roger Deakins won for cinematography, because are you kidding? The cinematography in this film is insane. It's stunning. So I'm very happy about that. Side note though, a little qualm that I had with the nominations after seeing 1917, that is, no love for George Mackay whatsoever. That's so shocking to me, because he is absolutely phenomenal in that film. He grounds that film. He personalizes it. He makes it a human story as opposed to just a storyboard. I think it's so shocking that he didn't get a nomination for lead actor. I would have replaced anyone on this list, apart from Joaquin Phoenix, with George Mackay. So I definitely raised an eyebrow at that. It's too late to bring forward my complaints because we're done and dusted now. We're looking forward to 2021. But this is just for the record. I think George Mackay definitely should have gotten a nomination for lead actor. And now, speaking of the acting categories, this was very much the part that felt same old, very predictable, very classic Academy Awards. I knew that every single one of these actors would win, and they did, and that was just fine. It was good. I'm very, very happy for Joaquin Phoenix because I think he's phenomenal in Joker, and I think he's highly deserving of that Academy Award. I also think that Renee Zellweger is very, very good in Judy. I think she's pretty much the main thing that works in Judy, so she definitely deserves the props for that. And plus, you know, she's doing so much acting. Like, oh, give her the award. She's such an actress. Laura Dern for Best Supporting Actress. I'm okay with that. I saw it coming from a mile away. She's won everything else, so why not the Academy Award? Again, I really enjoyed her in Marriage Story, which I said as much in my review, so I have no hard feelings about that. And then you have Brad Pitt for Best Supporting Actor. Again, I don't really have any bad feelings about that either. I wasn't the biggest fan of Once Upon a Time, just in general. I didn't think it was a great Tarantino offering, but I think Brad Pitt works in that film. I think he's my favorite character in that film, so yeah, why not give him the award for this one. I secretly don't think that this award was strictly for Once Upon a Time. I think it was an award for Brad Pitt being Brad Pitt, and they couldn't give it to Ad Astra because who cares about Ad Astra, so they were like, here you go, here's your Academy Award for just being Brad Pitt. Best song went to I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocket Man, which I think was super surprising, less so because it already won the Golden Globe, but I can't believe that Into the Unknown was just snubbed. Beyonce, Spirit from Lion King was completely snubbed, completely absent from even the conversation, which is shocking to me. But Into the Unknown was definitely Disney's push. It was definitely Disney's Let It Go Part 2. And it kind of fell flat, which is slightly disappointing because I actually preferred this song to Let It Go. But I just found it really funny how the Academy was just like, nope. When it comes to Disney or Elton John, we pick Elton John, god damn it. And speaking of Disney, Toy Story 4 won Best Animated Feature, which I think is fine, good. I wanted Klaus to win. Fine. I was slightly disappointed that Toy Story 4 won over Klaus. I just think Klaus is a better film. I just think it's such a fresh, unique, interesting and beautifully written and animated film. I was disappointed that the Academy decided to go for the traditional Disney / Pixar route this year. I mean, they surprised us with Into the Spider-Verse last year, and then they were like, that's enough surprises for a decade. So they went back to Disney / Pixar and they chose Toy Story 4, which is a good film. It's a very good film. I enjoyed it upon seeing it, but I haven't gone back to rewatch it. And the very last category that I wanted to discuss is another animated film. This was the winner for Best Animated Short, and that went to Hair Love, which is a beautiful, magical, phenomenal short film that is available to watch on YouTube. So I'd highly recommend you checking it out. I'm not even going to say much about it, but just know that this film is highly deserving of the Academy Award, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy that it won. It's a beautiful story with a message, with amazing characters, and it's wonderfully and uniquely and distinctively animated. So that's it. Those are all of the Academy Award wins that I thought I would discuss with you guys in this video. Of course, there are some that I missed out on, but I think in general you get the feel of my reaction with this year's awards. And like I said earlier, I do think that a lot of these films, apart from The Irishman, are highly deserving of their Academy Award nominations, and I'm very happy to see a lot of them there. But I do think that the Academy needs to change. I do think that the way that things work right now, where you have this very small window for these very specific Oscar baity films to just jump right in and start their campaigns and be a shoo-in to be nominated, it's no longer about the best films of the year. It's about the best of a handful of films that get attention, that get a narrative, that get money tons and tons of money backing their campaign. It's not really about the film themselves at the end of the day. It's about the campaign. It's about everything else, the fluff surrounding it. And that to me is such a shame, because when you think about an Academy Award, I mean, this is an award that can change someone's life. When it comes to the up and coming filmmakers, they can't get through all of that fluff and they end up just in the sidelines when they've also made incredible films, but because they don't have the backing of these studios who know exactly what they're doing at this point, they just get left behind. So I think there's definitely something to be said for a total reform of the Academy Awards and just a change in the way that they consider these films, because I understand that they can't be expected to watch every single film, and I understand that film is subjective and that there has to be a system whereby people can collectively decide what films need to be nominated, but the system that we have right now is just inadequate, and it's not a very good representation of the best of each category that the year offered. For example, I mean, The Irishman is nominated for costuming. Why? Where's Downton Abbey? Where's Dolomite? Oh, it drives me insane. Anyway, we're done now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are on this year's Academy Award wins. I'd love to hear them down in the comments below. Please be sure to subscribe to catch new videos coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.